Alright, let's try this again. So I'm trying to get everything back up. We haven't moved everything over from the old hard drive to the new hard drive. Or we have, but we don't have the motherboard or the DOS pointing to the new hard drive. So everything takes so long. I restarted, so I finally remembered about 10 minutes before the stream to reload or to restart the router, and that's when everything went absolutely sideways. So let's see, let me put into, do I even have Discord open here? Because Discord was open and then it threw up. So hope everyone is doing well today. Let's see. Hey Nico. That's funny. Why did a lot of terminals pop up? Because I'm trying to get Anaconda open, and I don't really know. Yeah, everything is still trying to open, as this hard drive is about to die. So we went and got a 4 terabyte hard drive, and I started to move over all my files. And my younger son, he's the hardware guy. He's built, gosh, I lose track. If you count mine, these are 7 or 8 computers now. So he's the one that helps me with the hardware side. Yeah, I'm looking at the box right now. Yeah, 4 terabytes. I think I moved over all the videos. So I've been downloading all of the videos that I make for streams, and they're just not even, it's like a joke. It's not even taking up any space. So all right, let me see if I can get Anaconda open. Let's see, is it even running anywhere? All right, maybe it's wanting to come up, but I hope everybody's doing well today. Yeah, see, Anaconda's trying to open right now. That's one thing I do have to oh my god, I'm gonna have to reinstall. I've just been making notes of everything that I'm going to have to reinstall once we go to the new hard drive, and it's going to be awful. I tried to experiment, but with OBS, and I created a file. See, all right, yeah, already running. Yeah. So we may actually be doing this in one of our older versions of Python. So what the premise that I was going back through notes, and I saw, and you may have seen on the thumbnail, that I thought this would be a very great, no, I don't want Dropbox open later. So yeah, we're going to have lots of stuff be popping open because it's, I usually have so much garbage that I have open. Yeah, I had to restart everything because it could just kept saying that OBS had a bug, and I've never had OBS have an issue before, so I don't know exactly what that was. So let's see. The command. Hey Jan, how are you? Oh, I don't even, Discord is gone, so I can't even unmute it. Here we go, finally. All right, give me a second. Let's get them back up. So we can at least get, and Discord was opening. Here we go. It had 15 updates, so everything in itself was, and YouTube is not having enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I'm doing all right. There will be some buffering. So I don't know if it's internet or OBS. Let me check OBS. OBS says I have 4,600 kilobits per second. So, all right. Let's see. All right. Here comes one spider, and then we'll get the other one open, and then we'll be able to get going. Yeah, this is the thing about lighting. This is interesting to me. So, no, I guess that makes sense. So with the white screen, it has brighter, so that overcompensates, so that even changes the color. All right, and yep, got Discord. Discord is unmuted. All right, let's go through everything. All right, Jan, I'm doing okay. Well, other than being ridiculously late today, and it's a half hour, and I've done absolutely nothing, but it will be okay. All right, here comes one spider, and then we'll get the other one going. And we flip, and we'll go from here. Nope. And got one of them. Let's see. Sorry. I have way too many group chats, I realized. And I don't even know who this person is. Don't even know. All right. So let's see. So we're going to be building. Did they both come up? No. So I thought this was going to be a perfect thing, because if you look at it, we have some columns and rows. So basically we have to take input from the user, and I haven't built this in a while. I've not even looked at the code in the background, and we're going to do this live like everything else. And doing pretty well doing these, except the what I had to cheat and I had to look at is prime or nth prime, I think. Okay. This one isn't up yet. It's acting like it's not even trying. There it comes. Okay. They're both coming. They're trying their best. So we'll use this right here as our talking point. So what we have to do is, if you look, we have columns and rows. So what it is we're going to let the computer, the program, pick where to hide X's. And so what we're going to do, as the user makes a guess, we're going to check behind it. So basically, this is a holding placeholder. It's an O, and then behind it is either a blank space or an X, and you, the user, have to find all of the X's. Find the 4 X's. Here we go. Oh man, this is why you've got to save your files, because all that work we just did over the past few days, without me saving any of those and saving those file names, they have all been deleted. Yay! So when you make a rule, abide by it. So let's get this to fit. I hate restarting my computer. Alright. Because then I have to do all this stuff all over again. And bring this up here, and boom. And there's that edge. There's that edge. And alright. So I think I have, yep. Yeah, so to give you an idea, these are spiders 5.5.6. One has, yeah. Alright. Thank you for being patient, for letting me pull all this up. So let's get, and we're going to name this right now. All right. Okay. So what we have to do, let's bring this in here. So first of all, we have to think about the appearance of this. So we have, there we go. We have a lot of things we're going to have to unpack, but we're going to have to do a lot of work to lay this out to begin, to even get to have this happen. And where's OBS? It's all the way down there. All right. How's the color? Not great. Not bad, but not great. There we go. Yep, 5.1, 5.5.1. And I have 5.4.3. So, doesn't matter to me. So, if you look at this is a list of lists. And we need to decide how in the world we're going to... Ooh, I accidentally highlighted the columns. I need to figure out how I highlighted the columns because I like doing that. Is awesome. Okay. Don't know how I did that. Okay. I digress. So we have a lot to do here. A lot of setup work before we can do any work. And that's the thing that I'm trying to impress upon everybody is I forget what all we were doing earlier this week or last week that we had so much work that we had to set up before we could do a thing. And that's data and analysis, that's programming, gee whiz, I grew up in a weld shop. There would be so much pre-work that would go into it. Even like a movie, storyboarding, to the amount of effort that goes into it before anything even happens, or even designing a project for software, timelines, requirement gathering. There is so much pre-work that goes into it, and I think that is completely overlooked. So we need to go ahead. We need to get first. How are we going to do this? So we have some numbers and we have some letters. So we have a lot to deal with. So let's just jump into it and get started. So if you are very new here, thanks for joining us. We go through Python problems here. Sometimes we dip our toe into some SQL, but it's just problem solving, logic, and thinking through how to solve things. All right. So let's just, and if you've not hit the like button, go ahead and hit the like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. So we need to, board, let's call this board. So we have a list of lists, right? And we need to just start here. So now, what does this really look like? Is that gonna work? How am I gonna output this and get this to work? Because we haven't even guessed. So we're gonna need to randomly guess ABC. So any suggestions of where we want to start with this? So right now, I need 1 through 6. So let's call rows equals list range 1 through, is it going to be 1 through 6 or is it going to be a different number? It's going to be a different number. Because inclusive, 1 inclusive, 7 exclusive. Now, we need to decide, whoa, I almost made a huge mess. All right. So we need to make a decision. And it's absolutely fine. We just need to decide and stick with it. So now we need letters A through F. So do we just want them to be our columns? Let's just call them columns. And it's just going to be A, B, C, D, E, and F. All right. So we have rows and columns, and we're gonna. Now our first time through, we need a bunch of zeros. So how can I for I in range? So I have 6. how am I going to go ahead and do something like this? I need 6. Print O, then end. Let's see if this is going to be enough. All right, cool. So now I need this to happen for J in range 6 times. Everybody following what I'm doing here? All right, so I got a little bit of a problem. Bingo. All right, so now I have my board. But I have a little bit of an issue where I have, cool, it did it again. Not doing that on purpose, but I sure would like to be able to repeat it. All right, so I need to be able to come up here and first print all of my rows. Excuse me, my columns. I need to print all my columns. And then I need to print, before my O's, I need to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's copy this. Well, we need to put this in a list of lists, just not outputting. So we need to figure out how we need to do this. It's a board. So for I, because what I need is, because we need to track this, we need to index this. Because if I pick this one, because here's an example. Enter your choice. I need to pick C2. So I'm going to need to be able to know where C2 is. This is not. There we go. There we go. So if I pick, I said C2. So if I pick C2, I'm going to have to come up here and have this replace either C2 with an X or a blank, because then we're also going to need to randomly pick a letter and a number and then remove them. Does that make sense? Oh, now I know why it's doing this, because these are all like. Bingo. Okay, now I know why it's doing it. So I'm not actually doing all of the columns. I'm picking like characters. That's why that's working. All right, well, at least I know. All right, so I'm halfway through here. I need to get this to actually be our list of lists and have this be an array. So we're going to do this. Here's a structure, but we need this to be a little bit different. So I'm going to show you how to, because what this needs to be is this needs to look like this. And something like this. And so on and so on. But let's say it was 10,000 by 5,000. You're not going to manually come in here and do this, so I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to do this by list comprehension. All right. For I in range, well, let's be consistent. So the first time through is rows. For row in range 6. Right? Now check this out. So when I run this, why for row in, why is this still doing this? Invalid syntax, why is this for row in range, row for row in range. All right, let me run this. And have I shown everybody list comprehension? So check this out. So when I call board, I get this. So now, this isn't exactly what I want. I need this to be here. So when I run this again and I call board, there we go. But what I really want is I need this to be this again. Does that make sense? So I need 6 of these. So I'm going to come here. Why did that not do what I just set it to do? No way. That's annoying. All right, so I now want this 6 times for column in range 6. Now I know this is really weird. So all right, I know that can be a huge leap. Do I need to explain how far deep do I need to explain that? Because I know this is really weird for list comprehension, but it is the exact same thing as this. All right. Please don't hesitate. Actually, I'm just going to go through it so in case somebody doesn't want to ask. So when I did this the first time, let's go back. So I comment this out. Let's make sure I have this in the clipboard. All right, copy. Comment, undo. So when I run this, when I rerun this, and I recall board, I'm creating a list with with list comprehension, you say for whatever your header is, do this. So now, the first time, when I did this the first time, I basically just said I want 6 O's in a list. All right. Now I want you to look really, really close in front of this 4. Just a string, a simple string of an O string. Now, so I want you to look really close right here. Let's uncomment this out so we can see it clearly. Same structure as this, as right here, right? So I'm still inside my list comprehension, but then look what I did inside this. So inside my list comprehension, this right here is the exact same thing as list. This string of O. But now inside of this spot, I want a list in this spot. And that's how we end up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can quickly create a list of lists with list comprehension. It's a very, very powerful, extremely powerful, useful tool where I'm not sitting here and typing a bunch of O's. And especially if you needed 10 columns and 50 rows, and then you needed to have these be any sort of combination or random or things like this. You could easily just do this right here. And how about we say you needed a random number right here? You would make this, you would import random, import randint, and pick a number, blah, 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 and it would fill all of this right here in a very simple line, and you now have this list of lists assigned to a variable. All right. Like I said, a lot of work setup. So now print, well, this isn't quite right, because if I print board, now I run this, we don't need this one, so comment that out. So it isn't quite right. So what we really need this to do is for row in board, print row, and run. So here we are. Let's see. Bidimensional 4. I used this to create a pack command on C++ command. Yeah, awesome. That is very cool. And is it Matteo? Matteo, I don't think I've seen you here before, so I'm very glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us today. So now we need to also bring in import random, because we need to randomly pick from here and from here. Now we need to be very careful, because as we pick one, we need to remove it, because we can't pick C1 multiple times. We can do A1, C1, C2, D3. So we're just not going to be coming in here and picking from here. We need to be very articulate in the way that we make this decision and the way that we design it. Because as we grab, we need to remove this from these lists. So first, before we get into anywhere, we need to have this be very pretty, and we need to get our columns, our column names, and our row numbers. We need to get that to come out here. So right here we're close, but this is not great. So it's really for C column in row, print column. Let's see if we're getting closer. And that's not good. So we need to do end. That's worse. Space. And then, as we've seen this before, print. All right. Okay. Now we're getting much, much closer to where we are. Does everybody understand what I just did? So I started and I got out the list. I broke out each list of lists right here. But this isn't really good. This wasn't really good. Nobody would get this. Nobody wants to see this. The user wants to see something like this. They don't care. They don't care that it's a list of lists in the background. They want something that looks more what they're used to. So now we need to get our so each time through we need to print, we need to have this the very first time. So if we think about this, we're iterating through, so this is not going to be, so for we can't do for header, so for column in columns, we may be needing to change this. Header and row num. There we go. So we need to be consistent, because we don't need to start confusing names of issues. So all right. So we need to print column in header and print col. And now, if I remember, I already have a problem because I have this issue right there. So we'll deal with that in a second. All right, so we have, yep, got a little bit of a problem. Print, because we brought up a row. All right, so here we are. We're getting close. So we're gonna luck out right now. This is good, but this is wrong on accident. It's a broken clock, because I'm going to show you in a second. So when I add my row numbers in, we're going to have a problem. So we need to solve this in just 1 second. So we're going to do this. So now we need to get, let's see, so here, board, column, row, column. So we need to also, as we go through, we need to get 1, 2, 3, 4 printed in here first. So let's go about how we're going to do this. Let's see, I haven't even checked. Oh, so we lost our warning from YouTube. So, okay, so we're at 4,700, so that's good. Discord, nothing on Discord. Color looks all right. So, all right, everybody hanging in there with me? Everybody following me so far? So now, we've gone through, and we're getting very close to having our board output. We have so much work that we still need to handle. So right now we're only 90% done with the board, because, like I said, we do not have our row numbers. So we've got to figure this out. So as we're going through, row, board, where's board? So board is here. So it is this. So we're going to have a little bit of a dilemma. So let me show you. We could handle this a bunch of different ways. Tools at hand. So we're going to be iterating through, and we're counting. Does everybody know enumerate? Has everybody seen this function? Help. Enumerate. Yeah, I spelled it right earlier. Everybody know what this does? So this is a handy tool that it creates a way to number, because right now I would need to be iterating through two let's see, two lists at the same time. Or then I'd have to index, or then I have to do a range, or then I'd have to do a variety of ways. So I haven't, like I said, haven't done this in a while, haven't thought about it. So I need to get a 1 to pop up here in front of this right here as we go through the rows. So I could do this a variety of ways. So let's just go ahead and start and see what comes out. So if I take an enumerate, I enumerate a list. So let's just think about this. And pass in my, what is column right now? What is row right now? All right, cool. So here we are. So we're going to pass in enumerate, and then row. Is that what it wanted? Row. We may be indexing this, and start at, and then unpack list. Maybe over engineering this. Yep. Okay. So we're gonna count. We're just gonna count through this. Man, I wanted to make this more dynamic. So I think we've talked about that. Making things dynamic and over-engineering. That is a delicate balance of allowing to use the tools that you have at hand and overcomplicating the design. And just that I've done this a very short time, you can get stuck in this loop. It's like, okay, no, I need to know how to do this. I loved the meme of the SpaceX rockets, the rocket engines, and you see Gen 1 has all sorts of extra additives and components and just extra work. And then Generation 2, you see there's less parts, less components, cleaner, more elegant, more efficient. And then the third generation it's just basically the engine itself with almost no components. I need to see if I can find it. Actually, let's go ahead and look for it. SpaceX rocket engine meme. Thought I'd be able to find it pretty quick. Yeah, here we go. Let me pull this over here. I don't think there's anything. It's just Reddit, so I think it's fine. I don't think there's anything. Let's see if you can see it. So yeah. Here's engine 1. Here's engine 2. here's the third gen of the rocket, and it just gets less complex. So over engineering to get it to work much better, and they're like, wait a second, we don't need half these parts. So that's what I'm falling into right now, and I think I did that a couple of videos ago. All right. So we just let's just throw a counter in here because we just need this to output. We're not doing anything. All right. So we need this to loop through and run. I'm gonna start at 1. We need it to print here. So print counter end space, and then down here counter increment by 1. All right, is that right? Let's run this and find out. Aha. Okay, so I have it, but now I have my dilemma. Final mode explosion, go boom boom. Yep. Very cool. Very good. All right, so now what I really have is a problem. So now as I've added these 2 new spaces, I have an issue. So the first time through, so I need to thank you, Nico. Make sure everybody who's here is this is so garbage. I hate this. I know there's a better way, but right now I'm battling the over-engineering of this. Oops. And I want to try something. Did that do it? Yeah. Okay. I know this is garbage and I don't like it. Let me just make that clear. I do not like this. I do not like this. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like Sam. I do not like Sam I Am. All right. I don't like this, but it's working right now. I cannot remember the cleanest way to do it. It's working. I do not want to over-engineer this, so I'm straddling. I'm getting it to work. Just get it to work. All right. So now, we have our board. So we have not allowed the computer to. So we have 2 more things. we've got to do. First, we have to have the computer guess and hide the X's behind here and store this in some sort of container. That's what we need to do next. All right. So we have to make random choices, but they cannot be the same choices. So guesses. No, that's not guesses. Because we need to remember what guesses have been made. X's. All right. So now we have... Ooh, let's do something cool here. Now, I don't think this is over-engineering, so we may use these later, but let's do something cool. If we go through here and we iterate and we make a list, aha, I don't think this is over-engineering. Let's do something cool where we actually make a list of A through, places. Check this out. Places equals, let's concatenate. Let's iterate through all of these. You guys see what I'm going to do? So check this out. What happens if we do a little bit and we make a list like so, and then inside the list we have A1 and then A2, A3, and we go from there. Now, like I said, I haven't done this in a while, so now we do have a dilemma. So as we make guesses, we would have to test. But you know what? I want to solve this. I want to go through both of these lists at the exact same time, and I want to see what this does. I want to make all the combinations of this. So how many combinations are there? So we have 6 times 6. So is it 36? So math first tells me there should be 36 combinations. So I'm going to iterate. I'm going to iterate through each of these. And as I iterate through, I'm going to concatenate them. And we did A5. So we're going to be taking information in, and it's going to be A5. All right. So we have a lot still to do. And we've been doing this. How long have we been on? 43 minutes. How long does my OBS say? 43 minutes. All right. So let's iterate for row. Let's see how we're doing. Let's see if we can do this all in one thing, and we'll see what we get. All right. Let's see what we can get. Now we're gonna have an issue because this is going to be an integer and this is going to be a string, and we're going to have to solve this. So for I in range, or are we going to zip this and put this together? Nope, because we need to iterate through all of it. For I in row, and we need to have this below here. Order of operations. I in row num. Nope, we're going to do header first because every time through, because it needs to be here and then here. So in header, then for letter in header, for row in row num. Then I'm going to concatenate these two. So x underscore s dot append letter and string row. Print x's. Let's see if this works the way we want to. F9. Bingo. X underscore xs's len x s's. All right, 36. So this is 100% correct. So now let's see if we can do this in list comprehension without having to do append. Because one thing that you do know that I haven't explicitly said, which is important in Python, list comprehension is faster than for loops, and especially nested for loops with append. Because it is using, if I recall, it's using more internal operations. So it's not actually coming all the way out into Python. It's doing this much deeper in Python than it is here, if that makes any sense. All right, so now let's clean this up. So for letter, in header. All right. So now I may not be able to convert this to list comprehension off the top of my head. If anybody has the syntax of this, we can do it. We may just go from here and then grab our for choices, because I do kind of like this, because we're going to reutilize this. We could make a copy of this. We could do this twice. So we could make this, we could have guesses, and so we could track if the guess has already been made. And ooh, yeah. We may reutilize this a couple more times. But all right, let's see if we can clean this up and put this into letter for letter and header. Let's uncomment that. Let's see what this looks like. No. F9. Excuse me. All right. Then it'd be this row right here. So letter, concatenate, string, row, for row in row num. Let's see. Doesn't like, yeah, it's poor syntax. Oh, it went away. All right, let's try this. Let's see what happens. Nope, it worked. Len. Okay, here's the syntax. So we did this all on one line. So there we go. Nice. So here are where the x's could be. So now we need, we probably can get away with, is random still in memory? It is. So let's do random choices. Let's look at dir on random. Okay. So we're going to do rand choices. Does everybody know the difference between rand choice and rand choices? I'm just knocking everything over today. A stack of stuff. My drink almost ate it. Oh man, did I really not do that? I did not do that. Forgot to do something, pull it out of the refrigerator and have it defrost. Well, it will have to be okay. Alright, let's bring this here so everybody can see. So we're going to look at the difference between choice and choices. So help on random choice. Choose a random element from a non-empty sequence. Okay, so help. I don't know why I'm going to reinvent the wheel. Choices. Population. So let's see. Return a k-size list. All right, so maybe we want to do random dot choices, and then pass in x's. Okay, that's not. Pass in population. K. We need to utilize K. K, and we want 4. We want 4. So, what in the world? Enter. Okay. So now here we are. So if we need to. So now that's where the x's were lived. Hidden. So now let's do hidden x's. Hidden x's equals random choice. There we go. Print hidden x's. All right, everybody follow me so far? What we're doing? Come up here, run F9. All right. So now my x's are down. So len x's so we could reuse this because I didn't pop it from it. I'm just randomly, and let's just make sure hidden x's. We need to find out, can it be a duplicate? So we need to understand. All right, let's reread the documentation. All right. If the cumulative weight, or if the relative weight of the cumulative are not specified, let's choosing with replacement. All right, we need to understand what with replacement means, because we do not want a duplicate, so we don't want to accidentally. So I've not thought about this chosen with replacement. We need to figure out, we need to do a little bit of search and understand and make sure. All right, let's do a little bit. And make sure that there's no way that there can be a duplicate. So the weighted probability, so it has to do with the probability, is now here's my weakness of statistics, because technically we may need. Okay, let's just do a search. Can Python random choices be duplicated? All right, there. there are two elements in population that have been the same value. Random choices does not eliminate duplicates. It prevents selecting same element. Wait a minute. It prevents selecting the same element more than once. So that's a weird. Okay, so if there are duplicates in the list, it may pick it, but it does not select the same element more than once. So we are good. Never thought about that. All right, and I got everything all messed up. Okay, so we are good with this. So it did not carve these out. So now we can use. So now we have to figure out how we want to do this, because we need to make a choice. Because the X's, we could call them, because now a person is going to be coming through and making a guess. So we may not call these X's. Spaces, spots, spaces, O's. Because right now the X's are being hidden. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to change this a little bit, because these are spaces, spots, blocks. What would we call this? Anybody have any comment of our guess, our choices, because we can't do choices because that's a keyword, our empty spaces. We'll call these spaces. Okay. All right, so we don't need this anymore, because the reason why I want to do this is because we're going to utilize both of these. So as we go through here, the user is going to pick, because we want to track and see if they've made that choice before. So we're going to look inside this list. So as they make the choice, it will be removed from their guesses. And then we also want to check and make sure that, let's run this whole thing, not F9. All right, so here we are. Let's see what all we have built so far. We have all of the choices. We now have where the X's are hidden. And now we have our board. So now what we have to do is now we take in input from the user. And we're going to check to see if they've made the guess before. So is it in this list? If it is in this list, is it in this list? And then we need to convert, because let's use this example of E4. E4. So technically behind E4 there's an X. So we would need to do a couple of things here. So we take the input, check this, then if it's in here, change it to an X. Now let's say they picked E3. E3 is not in here. So then we would need to check this. They've not guessed E3, so then we come down here. Is it in is E3 in our list of where the hidden X's are? No. So now we would convert this to a blank, and then we would reprint we would reprint our list. So let's just get this working. So we need to do lots of things. Hang on. I think I just heard. Thought I heard a thud. If I die, tell somebody. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So we need to take input. User guess. I hate the word guess. So input. Let's get this up here so everybody can see. Is this too low? Yeah, it's a little lower than I wanted it to be. Input. Enter your guess. And we'll have this here. Let's come up here. Actually, let's put that in here. Let's see how this looks. Cut. Let's see how this looks. Oh, wow. Okay. No. This needs to be blank. And then cut. And this needs to be at the end. Sorry, that was in the for loop. That is garbage. Okay, print. And close. Okay, let's try this again. That was traumatic. That's still not... blank. There we go. Okay, let's try this again. And enter move, enter guess. Move example. Let's clean this up a little bit. Press Q to quit. So we need to be having a for loop, and then let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. There we go. Don't really like any of this. Maybe am I getting closer? Okay. I think I kind of like this. And is my spot coming back? My spot is coming back. The sun. There we go. All right. Sun's starting to come through. Because I got such an awesome late start. Hey, Alex. I'm doing all right. Is it? It's Ethevard, right? And Alex, thank you everyone for joining today. So what we're doing is we're going through and we're making this little board guessing game. So thank you everybody for joining. And we've been doing a lot of setup right now. We had to create the board. So if you're just jumping in, we did a list of lists. We're printing out everything. We have our header and our column number. Then we're concatenating all of our squares. Should have called them squares. We called them spaces on the board. So now what we're doing is we have all our spaces here. We grabbed our guesses of where the hidden X's are that we have in the program. Hide the X's behind the board, and then now we're going to be taking input from the user, and now we need to check and see. First check, have they already made the guess? Second check, is it one of the X's? So all right, if user guess in, so we have two buckets. It's going to be in this, or it's not going to be in this. All right. And if we need to also then handle if the user hits Q to quit. So we need to have a while loop running this whole time, but we'll deal with that in a minute. Maybe I can finish this up in about 30 minutes because I've got to keep moving. I cannot have a day like yesterday. I had to replace a fan in a bathroom and sliced it's thin little sheet metal, sliced my fingers all the way up. So all right, spaces. So first it's going to be, it's either in this, if in spaces, then pass, else, print, no. So we're going to copy. So I want you to think about this. So if it is, so two buckets, it's either going to be in this list or it's not going to be in this list. So right now, if user guess in spaces, that's why it's thrown up, spaces, do this. We're not there yet because it's going to then kind of dump down here, but we need to handle this. But order of operations and path. If we need to then now jump to give them a message that they've already picked this. So user guess. So you have already, let's see. You have already guessed that space. All right, let's please enter your guess. Please. Yeah. Let's try this. So we need to test this. So we need to have a while loop. Where is the while loop going to go? Because it needs to be here, needs to be in spaces, needs to be so we need to remove it. Here we go. This is where we're going to do it. So if user guess in spaces, pop it out. So everybody know pop from list dot help dot list dot pop. All right, removes and returns. So this is why pop is so powerful, because you can bring it out and it returns, so you can assign it to something. So now space equals space, and it works as itself. So spaces dot pop dot user guess. All right, so this is going to work. So we pop this out. So we need to do the board. We need to get up here to spaces. So while true, and then move all this over. All right, run. So enter our guess. So we're going to do, we don't want to do this yet, so we're going to do A1. A1. Enter. And string can't be interpreted as an integer. So where's this throwing up? All right. So we can, string can't be, so 62. So you're going to get really good at debugging and problem solving. So embrace, I know it is so frustrating when you first get started and you're like, why isn't this working? It's just a riddle. It tells you exactly where, so it tells you exactly where to go look and why. So we're just going to read this and we're going to deduce what's happening. So, all right. So I'm taking in the user. First, let's double check. All right, everything in, let's get all our spaces. Okay, so user guess in spaces. If user guess is in spaces. So we have user guess. We're going to just start checking all this. So A1, that's what I typed. I'm expecting that. So spaces. So here we are. So user guess in spaces. All right, so we already have true. So this is, so I'm misusing, so this is true. So I'm misusing pop. Let's go through here. This is spaces. It's my list. So spaces dot pop. What am I doing wrong? I'm misusing pop. Help on spaces dot pop. What am I doing wrong? Bingo. I'm misusing this because I'm supposed to be passing in an index. All right. Does that make sense? I was forgetting how this, let's rerun this and get this error back in here. So this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Make sure you know what you have, make sure you know how it works, and make sure they're talking to each other correctly. So what I did, this is another perfect example. We're going to have a problem here because what do we do if the user takes in and they press lowercase a? So we'll deal with that in a minute. So let's go back. So I got an error that it said, and it told me exactly, and I completely forgot. I gave it a string, and it wants an integer. So we need to do one little teeny tiny little thing right here. So now we need to find the index of this. So check this out. We may not have done this yet. So we have spaces. Let's go back. Dir spaces. So what are the tools that we have for lists? Bingo. Index. So now I take spaces.index and I pass in user guess index 0. Index. So I could do this one of two ways. I could literally do this all on one line and dump this in here. But what happens if somebody comes back behind me and is like, what is he doing? So let's make this clean. Make this a little bit more readable. Because if I do these in steps, this makes all of this right here gets a lot more readable. So I just go, all right, some spaces, user, then okay, so I'm here, and then what's he doing? And he's checking here, index. Oh, okay, so he's got to find the index and he's popping it out. Blah 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 blah. All right, so cool. Now let's run this. It's gonna do A1. So we're still gonna leave our capital A, and we'll solve that. We can solve that really simply right here in one little line. So now, all right. So now we're gonna end this. You've already guessed that space. That's interesting. Okay, so please enter. So we can run this back. We don't have our Q yet, so we need to solve this. So let's stop this and let's bring in. So we need to solve our quit first. So because we need to be able to get out of here, and let's bring this back over here. No. All right. And if we're gonna handle a couple things. If user guess equals Q break. All right. And now let's handle this. Let's go upper. So we're going to handle that from the user. Y and equivalent. It's the only problem I hate going back and forth between SQL and Python is that right there. All right. Let's run. Quit. Let's test this. Perfect. All right. Let's rerun. Let's see if we check this. A1. Perfect. Let's do A1 again. And that should have popped this out. And Y. We have an issue. Spaces. A1 is still there. So we have a little bit of a dilemma. Let's go back. So I have my Q. Guess. Okay. I'm remaking spaces every time. So we need to move this. And I'm making let's go back. We need to get this out of the loop. Cut. Paste. Move this here. Everybody following me? Let's get this going so we don't need this. No, we're not going to delete it. We're going to use it. All right. A1. A1. Bingo. All right, you have already guessed that space. Please enter your guess. Please guess. Yeah, please enter. Please make another choice. You have already guessed that space. Please enter another different. Enter a different space. All right. Quit. That should have... Okay, so we have a little bit of an issue. That quit should have broken us out. Okay, so check this out. Because I was in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody get what I just had a dilemma? Because this was the first time through. This is standard order of operations. So I needed another one down here, so we need to test this. So I need to A1. You have already guessed that space. Please enter a different space. Let's check. Now let's quit. Okay, still am not getting this. Oh, because I didn't hit save. All right, now quit. And save. Got a dilemma. Where's this spider? I hate it when I don't think about this very much. Alright. I don't want to slow everybody down. Board game. We're just going to call this board game. Alright, save. Else. Do I need 2 breaks? No, breaks should just be... Alright. Let's see. So we're solving that, quit. Nope. Alright. But spaces. We did solve. A1 is gone. So we did solve that dilemma. But we still have... Alright, we still have this issue. And we'll deal with this in a minute. Sorry. Alright. That's frustrating. Okay, so I digress. So now what we need to do is when this happens, we need to figure out how to find that guess right here. And come up here. Because if it's in here, now also we need to test and see if it's in our x's. So we don't need to remove anything from there because we've already guessed blah 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 blah. So we just need to go if x no space user guess in what we call this thing. Is it x's? Hidden x's. Hidden x's. Then we basically have found an x and we need to change it. Else, all right. So we need to change. So let's do this. Change O to an X. And in this one, we need to change O to a blank. So all right. So we have still quite a bit to do, and we need to solve our dilemma of this X break. Because what is first jumping out to me is that since I have an embedded, I have a dilemma, and it's only breaking out. But the rule for a break is that it goes to the first layer of the loop. And we have this while loop. So it should be clean, but my brain goes, if user guesses Q, it's breaking out to here and still coming back up. But there's only one while loop. But all right. We'll deal with that in a minute. We need to now begin to unpack. I don't think you guys can see very much because my big old noggin. Yeah. All right. So now we need to change this right here. So we need to break this guess up, and we're going to use index again. All right. So don't get... Will this work? Because I want this output. Shoot. All right. So we need to come back up here. All right. So when we make our guess, E1. So I need to turn E1 into a blank space. So right here. All right. So it is not in my hidden X's. So I need to find that space and turn it into a blank. All right. So I need to then take my user guess, and I need to split this up, because right now user guess, check this out. User guess, what is it? Okay. All right. We're going to change this to equals, what did I say? E3. So right now I need to split this. So everybody know how to do this. So check this out. So I can do this a couple of ways. So I could do split. Nope, I'm going to be doing list. Why did I think split was going to work? Because you have to have a delimiter. Do you guys know it? Have you ever heard of delimiter? So I jumped. So we're going to use this. We're going to go row. So check this out. So row. Nope. I'm going to go column. Column. Row equals this. So this is a completely legal statement. So column equals E, row equals 3. Let's go back. I know that may be a lot if you've never seen this before. So as I'm here, this is 0 index. So this contains 2 objects inside our container. So in Python, it says, hey, you seem to know what you're doing, and I'm going to allow you to do this. So we're going to come back over here. We're going to go to column, row equals list, username, user guess. So now we have right here, all the way at the top, we have our header and this, and we utilized, so row A, so out of spaces, nope, out of board, here we go. So this is how we're going to control this. So row 1, so we're going to need to touch this just a little bit. So row 1 is 0 index. So we're gonna change this a little bit so we can wrap our head around this. Row 1 is, do we have anything hidden in row 1? let's see. We have stuff hidden in row 2. So we're going to utilize row 2. So bear with me here for a second. We're going to look at this. So row 2 equals board index 1. And I know it's hard to differentiate between all of these zeros, but we're going to do this like this. So now what we're going to do is our hidden x's, All right, so we're going to convert A, B, C, D. We're going to convert these two to our x's so we can visualize this. All right. Row 2 equals, no, row 2, what'd I say? 0, 1, 2, it was these two right here. So 0, 1, 2. So 2 is going to be converted to an x. So when I call row 2, and then I also am going to convert index 3. All right. So this is the way that we're going to be thinking about this and looking at this in the background. This row right here. So we're going to be slicing this. So this is technically C2 and D2 and their x's, and that's on the other. So it's basically, if you think about it, and we're flipping over cards. So the O's are the front side of the card, and the X or a blank space on the back side of the card. Actually, so we can really see this. Let's change 0, 1 to a blank X. Yeah. So now when I call this, perfect. So here's an example. So these three are not flipped over, and these three are flipped over. So O is an unflipped side, and X and blank spaces are the other side. So if I were to come through here and print for I in row 2, print I. No. There we go. So now if I were to, here's row 2 on this. And so then I'd still have these 2 and 3 to flip over. All right, does that make a little bit of sense? I know this is really weird. We still have our dilemma of oh, that's my back screen. Sorry, I was like, what is on my foot? I thought it was a part of my chair. All right, so let's come over here and look for just a second. Is all the colors still good? Not great. Pull this up here. And we're at an hour and a half. I may be dropping here because it's 9:30 my time. We may be stopping here since I've had such an awesome start to the day. But I do want to check something. But you guys have been awesome hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Let's see something. And this stream was so weird. Yeah. All right. You guys have been really good to me. I appreciate it. All right. But let's try to keep going for just another minute. And I'd like to solve this queue problem, this quit problem down here in this nested else. Because it's probably just an order of operations problem. Because Thank you, Nico. If you've not hit the like button, please make sure you're hitting the like button. All right. So O is an unturned over card. X and blank spaces are a turned over card. So we find out if it's blank or we find out if it has X's. So as we're coming through here and we have row and column and row. Now, we can easily index for E and get the proper index. Now we're going to have a dilemma with our row. So as we know, Python is a zero index. The user does not care. They're not going to convert the way that they're thinking. They're not going to count by zeros. So we have to account for that. That's our job. That's our responsibility. That's the UX. That's the user experience. So, and that's a delicate and a challenging thing for programmers to deal with. Actually read the book Switch, and that was actually one of the problems. And Melinda Gates was one of the original designers that created the room to let the programmers come in and watch users use their product. Because an engineer, they were giving it to other engineers, and the engineers loved it, thought it was so great and so smart. Well, regular people, they're going to do things the regular way, the way that they know how to do it. So these are the things you have to think about. If I'm going to, E is of course E, but row 3 is really index 2. So we need to, no, UI, UX. So I agree with you, UE, UX. So UI, user interface, UX, user experience, UX, UI. It would make sense that it would be UE. I completely agree with you. But I've only ever seen it as UX for user experience. But Nico, I completely agree with your sentiment. All right, let's see. Here we are. So we've converted here. So now we need to then also convert row. Let's check something. So I want to, how far back can I go? All right, I want to check something. I want to see if I can do this all on one line. Column, row, because I've never seen to be able to do any math on this side of the equation. No, it won't work. Okay, so now we're going to go row minus 1, and we're going to decrement this. And why are we decrementing this? Because we're handling this issue. So row, so column is first, row is second. Oh, also going to have a problem here. Check this out. Row decrement 1. That will throw up because, so we're going to try this right here. Let's see if we can wrap this in int. I don't know. I've never tried this. Let's see if this works. Yep, nope. Okay. So I now need to row equals int row minus 1. All right. So let's get going and let everybody follow me while I'm doing this, because if I need to decrement row, but right now row is a string, int row minus 1. All right. So here we are. So now I have my column and my row. And let's see. So here I am. I'm going to be, because right now my row number and my header. So let's go back. Let's get this out and quit and quit. Okay. So here's my dilemma. So now, of course, everything changed and everything. But here's my spaces. So whatever I guess, and we're going to leave this here because we want this. We need to make sure everything is functioning in all the proper paths of removing the spaces, our guesses, and especially if it's here, it needs to place it with an X and not a blank space. So I need to pull out. So we need to look at something. If you don't have much experience with lists of lists, don't know why I did that. Lists of lists, just bear with me for a second. All right, so I want to change. Let's do something right here. Let's change this X. Excuse me, this space right here. Come on. So it's row 1, 2, 3. So index 0, 2. And then index 0, 1, 2. So check this out. 2. 2 equals capital X. So now when I call board right here, this is what we're going to be doing. This is how this is going to be utilized. So I've unpacked the guess, but now I need to get it into complete integers to be able to do something like this. So if it's in here, I'm going to be placing it to an X, and then I'm going to repeat all of these steps right here to have this change the O to an X. If that makes sense. Same process, same finding of the index, the same location, the same converting to a 0 index, finding it, finding the location, and then going from there. All right. So we're going to be placing it. So now we need to get our index. So right now we have column and row. So we're right here. All right. We have a problem. That should be something else. All right, Nico, you send in some stuff. All right, Nico's sending some stuff. The potato has arrived. Oops. Nico's deleting a bunch of stuff. All right, Nico, you doing all right? Okay. All right, we're going to do this last thing, and then we're going to call it a day, and we're going to finish this up tomorrow. All right, so we're going to run this and then back out. Jan's still here. I love it. You said it. I think you said MK. Let's go over there and check. All right, love it. All right. Run. Quit. So column. So I haven't taken a guess yet. Oh, I need to guess because we need to make sure that all this is working. All right. So run. Guess. I don't want this to be in here, so I'm going to do A1. A1. Quit. 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 All right. Guess. No. User guess. It's going to be Q. No. All right. Okay. All right. We can think through this because I don't want to create a new variable to just solve this problem. So we come through here and we're going to take our user guess. If pop it out here, we have all of this. Spaces. Oh, space. There we go. All right. So we can play around with this. That's right. I did have a temporary variable. All right. So then column row equals list. And actually, yeah, let's no, let's just stick with this. All right, space, column, and then row. All right, let's see. We got some stuff happening over here. Oh, sorry, Nico, I'm not following. All right. Promise after this one little thing, then we need to. So A1. So I need this right here. So I need to convert row equals int row -1. So now row is here. So I have my index for my row of my 1, but now I need to find where in the world this is. So now my column, I'm going to do header dot index dot column 0 0. Okay. So now I'm going to go header dot index. Everybody following me? Then board. I know this can be super weird. So row first, then column. Oops. Column equals column. Now, changing O to a blank. Bingo. All right. So now let's run this. Let's see. All right. So we do not want to accidentally guess because right now we do not have a path. So A1 is not here. So A1. All right. That is happening. So this needs to be moved outside as well. Q, because we want the board set up. Cut, paste. There we are. All right, run again. Everybody understanding why that needs to be outside the while loop? Because I was recreating the board again. All right. Cannot pick A1, so let's pick B1, and I can't pick A1 because right now it is a hidden X. This is why we're outputting this right here. So let's do B1. So B1. Bingo. So now, perfect. Here we are. So it is not, it is blank. So now, same process. Copy exact same. Just this goes to a capital X. Does that make sense? Same process, same everything, just what it's getting changed to is different. All right, let's run this again. All right, so now we have, let's do A1 and then A4. A1 should go 0. Now A4, it's an X. A4 is an X. And that should have worked. So because A4 right here. And we picked A4. Oh, my bad. I'm looking completely. So there we go. There it is. So this is working completely. So now let's test and make sure. Let's do B5. Okay. D3. All right, so here we are. Now let's do A4 again. Let's check and make sure this path. You have already guessed that space. Please enter another different space. That's horrible. We'll fix that later. So right now, this break is not working. So and I am at a complete loss because we just entered Q and all right. I want to come back and solve this. So right now we're going to enter run true run. So we're going to run equals false. But I'm very annoyed that right now my break is not working. But this will work, I promise you. So we're going to guess A1. Then, so we still have a lot to handle here. What happens if we guess A12? All right, but let's do A1 again. So right now, we do not have please enter Q to quit, so that we need to fix that, but let's do quit here. Still didn't do it. Okay, now I'm getting really frustrated because that means this is not being hit at all. All right, so we're gonna stop here because I guess this is really making me mad. And gosh, it's almost 10. Yeah, I'm gonna have a replay of tomorrow, so I've got to keep moving. Thank you everybody for joining today. I absolutely appreciate it. We have some regulars here. Jan's probably still here. Nico, thank you. Jan, as always, you're very supportive. Let's see, did I miss anything in Discord? If you have not jumped over to the Discord server, please make sure. Yeah, something is really goofy here. This should not be. That took 3 Qs to get out of here. Am I writing it? Look at this. You have already guessed that space. This is like I'm writing it to another index. All right. I'm getting mad now. So we're gonna stop here today. We're gonna pick back up where we left off. Thank you as always. Thank you, Nico. Thank you, Jan. Alex, I don't know if you're still here. Was it Athithavad? Thank you for joining today. We'll pick back up tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. But yeah, think about order of operations. Apparently, I need some help. But yeah, these things, you'd be shocked how much users care about this. This will enrage a user, and then they will tell their bosses, and then that boss will tell your boss, and then you don't want your boss's boss involved. Because those conversations get really uncomfortable really, really fast. So, everybody have a great rest of your day. Yep, bye Nico, bye Jan, bye Alex. Anybody else who's new here, please jump over to Discord. That's the best way to get some help with anything. But I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.